So yeah, let's do this. We are live, Facebook fam, and we are back. Lace and Sutton, the co-founders of the Flavor Room, here to talk to you today about what is the Flavor Room exactly, because you ain't never seen nothing like it. So, what is it? We're about to tell you.
Yeah, what up, party people? Yes, that's right. The Flavor Room is not anything that you've ever seen before, ever heard about, ever experienced. Why? Because it came from my head. And it's not something that we chat GPT and like I said yesterday, help us come up with a community. No, this is all from lived experience and observation and iteration, which are cornerstones of building a business. So we're going to get into what the Flavor Room is and what it's not, who we serve, how we serve, and then we're going to wrap it up. So, Lace, do you want to start us off?
Yes. So, what the Flavor Room is not. Okay, I really want to emphasize that part. What we are not. We are not a round robin, come and say your two-line pitch that doesn't really mean anything to anybody. We're not that. We are not a mastermind. We are not a coaching program. We're not a networking thingy or a networking group or any of that kind of stuff. We are not a collection of people who don't talk. And we're not a collection of people who don't care. We're not a collection of people who don't do what we say we will. And we are not a pitch fest. Very, very important things to note. We don't force people to participate in our sessions or force you into collaborations. That is totally optional. It's a byproduct. You will end up collaborating with people. You will end up wanting to participate, but we are not going to force you to do that. And we're not a space where you can't be yourself. Okay? You don't have to come up in here and be no NPC or act no way. You don't have to dress a certain way or turn up with a full face of makeup. Nope, come as you are. So we're not a space where you cannot be yourself. So yeah, that's about what we are not.
Okay, go potty. No, thank you for that, Lace. I love that. And I want to, before I get into the ecosystem and the movement piece of it, I want to go back to what you said about we don't force people to participate. You kind of touched on it, but I want to go deeper. We don't have to. As Lace said, it's a byproduct because we have standards. Because we have standards in place, and because we have centered everything being about connection and communication, those things happen naturally. When people join the Flavor Room, they want to participate, right? Even people who are more introverted, the Flavor Room will bring you out of your shell, not force you, but just the nature of the room, you're going to come out of that shell. And the point about masterminding, no, it doesn't, it's not a mastermind per se. We don't have to label it as a mastermind because masterminding will naturally happen. Will naturally happen when you have synergy between brilliant people who have come together in a room for the same goal. So we don't need to do any of that false marketing type of labeling. Now, when it comes to an ecosystem, that is definitely what we are. We are an ecosystem, okay, where everyone receives, everyone gives, and everyone receives. It's a symbiotic relationship where I'm doing something, Lace is doing something, other people are doing something, and we help each other out. It is also a movement that quite honestly is changing the face of entrepreneurship because we are getting back to what business is supposed to be about, relationships and communication, and not judging people for how much money they have, for what they look like, for their branding or all this other, weird stuff that people are doing. We're not doing any of that. And we are a community because we are bringing people together, not a group. See, there's a difference between a group and a community. A group is where everybody's just brought together and everybody does their own thing. That's what you find in these other spaces. They are just a group. They call themselves community, but they're not. They call themselves community for marketing purposes. But we are a community in that we are bringing people together from different walks of life, from different industries, a diverse group of people, and building a community. And the community works because we have standards.
Mama.
You've heard me say that over and over again. And I'm going to keep saying it because it's the absolute truth. We're not just saying that we value each and every person. We're not just saying that we are transparent with what we do. We're actually doing it. We're not just saying you can come as you are and then behind the scenes, judging you and telling you have to be a certain way. It's not like that at all. And that's why each and every member, they are happy to join the flavor room. They want to be invited. They want to go to events. They are opening, their emails. That's why we have a 77% open rate. Okay. They want to be involved.
Yeah.
It is elevating people to a higher level in their business where they are looking at things differently, saying, oh, I didn't know I could do that. Or I hadn't even thought about that. I'm feeling inspired. You don't get that anywhere else because very, very few places care. So I want to give a quick example of what I mean by ecosystem movement community. One of our amazing founding members recently had an event. And so they popped into our chat because we have a flavor room chat. Okay. We bridged that gap. What is it? Okay, go potty. And they came in the chat and said, hey, I'm having an event. I'm looking for sponsors for this event. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. I think it was maybe 15 minutes, Lace, the spots were filled.
About that,
Because
yeah.
that's how we roll. So we went to this member's beautiful event. Okay. It was an annual event. And it was Lace, myself, and another member of the flavor room who were sponsors. And we were treated like royalty. It was a virtual event, but it was just absolutely lovely. And what came of that was not only was this member of the flavor room able to present their event with actual sponsors and elevate that event, but there were relationships that were built. Someone actually joined the flavor room just from us being present at that event. And we were not promoting the flavor room. We didn't come in and say, hey, come buy this. And, oh, when do I get to pitch? No, it was not that at all. We were there to represent. We were there to serve. And because we came with service first, the fruits came. So, but it didn't end there. We had a new member in the flavor room as a result of sponsoring that event. But then our member who invited us to their event received a kickback. Okay, they received a financial benefit from one of their people joining the flavor room because that's how it's supposed to be. That's how business is done. And that's how you build relationships. That's how you build trust. All the things that people are talking about online but not doing. We're doing it. And we have proof. We have receipts. We don't need to just come on here and flap our gums and say it. We're actually doing it. We're living it. And this is why it works.
That's the truth. That's the truth. And that's just one example. And we have another example where we have.
Want to give that example? I'm going to go take care of this guy.
Okay. We have another example. So one of our members is a very, very talented brand strategist. And we're bringing something to the flavor room as another arm of it, where we're going to have this particular member as our go-to brand strategist. So when we have clients that come through and this is what they need, they're going to be directly referred to her. And then anyone who signs up with her will give us a financial benefit. And she has a financial benefit of being paid in full by her clients. And you can see how this works, because it's not just us out for ourselves. We are, forwarding that business on. So that is a referral partnership. And that was just discussed this morning. So that's what's happening there. So that's another example of the ecosystem, and it's just going to keep increasing. So yeah, who do we serve? Big questions. Who do we serve? So you may have read that we are out here for the diverse leaders and the entrepreneurs of color. So what does that mean? Does that mean you have to be of color to be part of this? Absolutely not. No, you don't. You don't have to be POC or whatever you want to call it to join. You just need to be someone who wants to do business differently and are down with the brown. Welcome back, Sutton.
Thank you. No, you're doing great. Go ahead. I'm listening.
Oh no, you carry on. I was just talking about who we serve.
No, that's great. And you're absolutely right. And there's something I want to say to the who we serve point, because there's a lot of spaces who are saying they're all about women's empowerment, they're all about diversity and inclusion, and all the things, all the nice words, but it's very vague. Not only do they not follow up with those words, it's very vague, because you can say that you're about women's empowerment, but what kind of women are you empowering? And how are you empowering them? Those things are always left out. So that's why I want to use that as a segue to how we serve. How are we creating this curated ecosystem movement community for diverse leaders and entrepreneurs of color? How are we getting these results for our people where they are filling, their events with sponsors and getting financial kickbacks quick? This is because we are building this ecosystem intentionally. Okay, we didn't come into this building this saying, what can we get from it? The first thought that came to our minds wasn't, okay, how can we turn this into a money machine for us? It wasn't, how can we stuff all of our offers and get on stage and say, look at me every week. No, it wasn't that at all. Everything we do has been from listening to our members, being attentive to their needs. One of the things when you really start getting into business as well as customer service is, how can you anticipate the needs of your customers, of your clients, of your people before they even voice those needs?
Mhm.
And that's what we've done. Something else we've done is, as I said earlier, is setting standards in place, not just for words, not just to fill up a sales page, but things that are actually implemented. Because it's easy to say that you have standards, and then when anybody and everybody is ready to pay you, you just go with it. That's not what we do. We have removed people from the flavor room. We will gladly turn away people. And that standards goes into it being invite only, which we have heard unanimously from all of our members and people outside of the flavor room that is something refreshing, because it's not doors open, come one and come all. That is how we are able to build the trust, uphold the standards, protect the integrity of the space, but also to protect our members. And that's how we can get results such as financial kickbacks without contracts, because there's trust built. So yes, people are coming in and meeting the same people, every session, every meeting, but guess what? There's trust built there. You actually get to know these people, not just from the meetings, but also because there is that communication hub, which we have with our WhatsApp group, which will soon become the Flavor Room app. And something else we've done is, I mentioned the invite only, but another point with that invite only is that everybody is vetted. There's some people that say their space is invite only, you just send them an email and you're in. That's not what we do. We are doing our own digging. Lacey and I are doing our own digging into the person who's interested in the flavor room and using our discernment, because we have standards. There's a checklist we can go through and say, okay, does this person align with those standards? And we can easily decide as leaders, okay, as protectors of this sacred ecosystem, whether or not it's a yay or a nay, not whether or not we need the numbers. but whether or not this person is going to bring something to the table, and whether or not we can offer them something at that table.
Mhm.
Go
This is a
ahead.
quality table. It's a quality table.
It really is.
Mm.
And that's how we keep it that way.
Exactly. Yeah,
You
we
don't want to
covered
touch.
that.
Go ahead.
So we covered that then, I think.
We did. Um, a point about providing opportunities for our members.
Mm.
That's something that we also do very well. I say this phrase all the time, but it's true. We burn the midnight oil trying to refine and improve and think of ways, like we live and breathe Flavor Room each and every day,
Yes. Yes,
all
yes,
day.
yes. All day. All night.
Yeah,
Dream of
yeah.
shit as well sometimes.
Mhm.
Yep. That's
Yeah,
the
and
truth.
it's never about us.
No.
It's not.
No.
It's how
Sometimes
we
we're like,
can.
oh, we haven't even like talked about what we actually do individually.
Yeah.
We-
Hmm. Yeah. An example of that, with the opportunities that we create and provide for our members. Well, two, actually, I can give the example of Una and you can give the other one.
Mhm.
So we we noticed that in the main chat of our WhatsApp group, there was some people, feeling some type of way about where they currently are at with their business. And as it goes, sometimes you get frustrated, right? There was some, okay, there was some clear indication of frustration. So when you are a leader, when you are in tune to your community, your people, your customers, whatever, as I said earlier, you should be anticipating the needs. So Lace and I came together and I said, you know what, I think we need to have a space where people can kind of release that, a space that doesn't kind of cloud the main space of the Flavor Room. People need a space they can go to and just kind of release and get back on track. Because another piece of that is there's all kinds of spaces, and I've been in them, where you go in and you vent, and it's a vent fest, and everybody's in their feelings, and everybody's feeling validated, witnessed, and held. But it's just to hold you in the victimhood, just to validate your complaining, not to help you move forward and say, okay, we see, we hear you, but how are we moving forward? It's never that. It's just, oh, cry on our shoulders and we love you and da 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 da. Stay down with us, stay small with us. But that's not what we're doing. So Lace and I said, you know what? We have someone who will be perfect to facilitate a session like this. And that is the lovely and brilliant Una Singh. And she did that yesterday, the first one. And our members got so much value from it. And it was absolutely amazing. And she was excited for it. She was excited to be able to, give back and highlight her expertise. And we told her, you come in, you can sell, people can see who you are and be invited to your services. This is not where you kind of come in for us and, oh, I have to be quiet about what I do. No, we want our people to sell. How many spaces have you been in where you're encouraged to sell? Probably not any. And if you do, they're going to charge you and they're going to have all these guidelines of how and what it can look like, and it can't be more than this. And that's because it's still about that person. Because if you have standards in place where it's actually from integrity, from transparency, and from service, you don't need to have all these guidelines of what people can sell and how it can look like. Because you're not threatened. You're not looking for someone who's going to compete with you or, take business away from you, because that doesn't exist. But what do we know? Lace, you want to give the next example?
Yes, so the next example of opportunities that we have for our members is one of our founding members, again, lovely founding member, been there from the beginning, one of the OGs, was like, do you know what? I want to be team TFR, the Flavor Room, if for the uninitiated. But he, and I'm going to highlight this too. Yes, we have men Men are welcomed. We love to have men in the space. We have to, and we are open to so many more. So he was like, I'm not really sure how I want to be involved in Team TFR, but I do. And what we know about him and how brilliant he is and all his, you know, wonderful qualities, we were like, this guy would be amazing to be an ambassador for TFR. So that's what's happened. And that was just this morning, right? So we have our first TFR ambassador. And when he talks to people that he feels that will benefit from the space, he'll get them to come and have a chat with me and Sutton, because we're like the Golden Gates. So we have that chat, we do that digging, and anyone that comes in and signs up, you know, gets that invitation, then he's going to be paid from that, a good 70% as well. You know, it's a good portion that we're offering. So and he was real cool with that. So again, he's still doing his thing, he still has his business, but he's got this extra little arm now that he can be extending those, you know, conversations, giving out our Flavor Fit call card, if you like, and reaping the benefits of the seeds that he's sowing by sharing TFR. And the reason he wants to share the Flavor Room is because obviously he believes in it. He's seen what's going on in there. He likes what's going on in there. He's growing. He's getting all the benefit as well. So he wants to share this with other people. So yeah, opportunities are just opportunitying.
Absolutely. And I'm so glad you added that last part as to why he would even want to be a part of Team Flavor Room. Not just to come in and participate more, but to actually be a part of building the Flavor Room, because he sees the impact of it. He sees the importance of it. He sees where this is going. And that's what visionaries do. Visionaries don't say, well, how's it going to help me? What can I get out of this immediately? Well, where's the next $7 sale coming from? No, visionaries are looking for longevity. They're looking 20, 30 steps ahead.
Yes.
And that's what we want to pull out of our people. Because the game is changing, folks. Marketing, sales, buying behaviors, it's all changing. So if you're just going to be caught in that hamster wheel of who can I DM next so they can, you know, buy my thing, no. And it doesn't help you either, because you've essentially exchanged one 9 to 5 for another. And we've had even people come and tell us, you know, I've never thought this big about my business before. I've always just thought in, you know, these very basic terms. Look for people to buy my thing. They buy my thing, then go look for the next people to buy my thing. And this is why you see so many people who are in feast and famine with their business, because they're just looking, okay, who can I sell to next? Who can I sell to next? And then we get into the burnout. Well, of course you're going to suffer from burnout if you're always stressed about where the money is going to come from next. But what if we think long term and what we can put in place now so that all those things fall into place later? So that's what we're doing.
It is indeed. Well, we're
So
going to leave
before
that
we wrap
there.
up, we're
Yeah,
going to
go
leave
for
that
it.
there. So before we wrap up, I want to share my screen with y'all, because we are often compared to networking. We are often compared to masterminds. People asking us if we are coaching in there, if it's a coaching thing. They want to know, what is it? Well, we spent the last, half hour telling you what it is. But we wanted to show you this, a comparison chart. Now,
Yeah.
don't get it twisted. We are incomparable. We are a category of one. The Flavor Room is a category of one. However, just because we know that people are used to networking, people are used to, you know, groups and these different kinds of things, we have this chart for you. So at least you can conceptualize, like, okay, apples to oranges. So them, we're going to call it them. Them in the Flavor Room. Frequency, the events are sporadic. Okay. Whenever, sometimes even if they're not sporadic, they're still sporadic because of the way that they lack structure. So with the Flavor Room, it's consistent community.
Yes.
Consistent people every single time. Consistent energy. Okay, because we have standards. We're not going to come in one day and do something else, and the other day it's completely different. Because that, that can change the dynamics of a space as well. The same people problem. So yeah, you go to these other things, same people, but you're still spinning the same wheels every week. Let's be honest. When you sit back and think about what you are experiencing in those spaces, even though it may be like 100 or 1,000 people, well, what's happening? You meet for, an hour and you close your laptop and you're like, okay, well, that maybe was fun in the moment, but that's it. But in the
Yes.
flavor room, we build together with intention. As we've been saying, because there are standards in place, because we're consistent, because we know where we're going. Wow. These other spaces, they don't have a purpose. Well, they kind of do, but it's not a purpose that's going to really benefit you. And if it does, it's something that has not been really thought out because people are just slapping things together, copying what they've seen other people have done. And we are not doing that. Hence why we are different. Hence why we cannot be compared to anything else that is out there. Hence why we are changing the game. Hence why we are categorized as one. Group size, large. So they'll tell you, oh, we'll come and we have 1,000 people and it's really great and you'll meet so many people. Well, how many of those people do you actually meet? If there's 1,000 people, how many round robins are you going to get through in that hour? And even if you do, like say there is 1,000 people and there's 6 rounds of round robin, that's still a lot of people in one round robin.
Yeah. And what about the groups? We've got hundreds, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of profiles in a group.
Yep.
How many of those people are you getting to know? How many of those people are actually reading your stuff? How many of those people are interacting with it? Usually it's
Yeah.
just the owner and their VA if you're lucky.
And the thing about that is, this statistics is a little bit old, but last time I checked, if you have an active group on Facebook, the reach is only like 6 to 8%. And what people don't tell you is the algorithm is constantly changing. So you're still going to be competing with everything else that's on Facebook. So putting all your eggs in one basket saying, oh, I'm going to join this thing because they're giving me access to post in their group. Well, what are you really getting out of that? And they'll tell you, well, you just need to be consistent with it. I have been in a lot of Facebook groups in my day. And I have seen the dynamics in these groups change. People are not getting the reach they used to get. People are not getting the engagement that they used to get. But people are still putting out the same model, riding the coattails of what used to be, not what is. But that's a whole other conversation. So, and size, these large groups, we're curated. People use the size as a selling point, like, oh, we're a big group. And you think in your mind, oh, well, more people, more opportunities. But think to yourself, how many times has that actually been true for you? And you know the answer to that, so I'll just leave that one there. Feedback style. Some spaces only want to hear about the wins. They only want to hear about the unicorns that, got the big results and never give you the backstory to how that happened. Well, in the flavor room, we want to hear the wins, not just about big money. We want to hear that you've been consistent in your business 30 days. We want to hear that you're drinking more water. We want to hear that you have some internal shifts. It's not all about the money because when we have those other things, those foundational things in place, the money, the sales is a byproduct.
Yes.
We don't come out saying, oh, I want to get sales. Because when you have everything in place, as I said, that's going to come. We also want to hear the struggles because this is real. This is real life, real business. Things happen. Not everything is, an Instagram carousel. And this is another reason people are so stressed out. People having businesses are getting burned out because there's this pressure that is put upon them and pressure that people are putting on themselves to achieve this thing that oftentimes is unachievable. So in
And
the
we
flavor
don't
room, we're saying, go ahead.
so we don't just sit there with them struggles, validating them, like you said earlier.
No.
We're helping you move forward.
hmm Helping you move forward. And we also want the wins, but we're not quantifying wins as how much money did you make this quarter? Because those things will come. So the income gatekeeping, this is something that we've heard from, some people recently, was that there are spaces where you can only be making a certain amount of money. I get it. Totally get that. But what we are hearing is that these spaces are discounting experience. So someone could not be making 6 figures or 7 figures or whatever, but even if they have, decades of experience, it doesn't matter because they're not making the money. So then we have to ask the question, what's more important? And then this is where we get into, there's places that some people don't fit in. Like they may have years of experience and, have great, client results, and they don't fit in some of the other spaces because of where they are in their business as far as having all of that experience. But then they're not making the big bucks as some of these other spaces, and they don't fit in there. So where does that leave them? What we're saying in the flavor room is we're about impact, your character, your integrity. How are you showing up? And this is why we're invite only.
Mm-hmm.
Not invite, show us your receipts, not invite, show us how many's on your email list, how many followers you have. How many
much
times have you
reach?
seen that? Reach. Our reach is hearts and minds. Our reach is changing the game. That's the reach that matters to us. The vibe. So I have been in spaces, and Lace, maybe you have as well, where it's, oh, let's icebreaker, like we're 12 years old. Let's go around the room and tell people something unique about you and another thing, and that's a lie. And why? I did not come here for this. And this is not going to help me get to know you. So we're looking for substance. That's how the flavor room is different. Substance, real conversations. We haven't even needed an icebreaker. Even at our first meeting, did we need an icebreaker?
Nope. We don't use it with new members coming in either.
Don't need it. There is no ice to break. So if there's ice to break, it's because, go ahead, Lace.
So we just warm up in here.
Don't eat it.
Fine.
Because it's not to eat. No, we don't need any icebreakers because, again, we have set that tone. We've set that foundation. So accountability. A lot of times you go in these spaces and, they force you to be accountable with someone and it fizzles out. We don't need that. We have accountability embedded in the community structure because we have standards. People don't want to disappoint other people in space. It's very simple. Follow up. How many times have you been in a group and follow up is, yeah, we'll get back to you, send me your link, and nothing happens. Well, we're in constant communication. So that solves that problem of you going to meetings and you have no idea how to get a hold of people. You will always know how to get a hold of people in the flavor room because we're always talking to each other. That chat is popping off, several times a week. And it's only going to continue. Is it? Oh, it's going to continue with the flavor room app. It's only going to continue, which is not third party, by the way. Okay. As we said, everything we do is intentional. So we went that extra mile. We're not giving you Kajabi. We're not giving you Kartra. We're not giving you Circle, Mighty Networks. Those are all fine, but we wanted to go a step further. We wanted our own thing. We wanted to own it. to make sure it's customized for what? Our ecosystem, our people, to keep them in constant communication and putting things in there that are for us. So that's why we have our very own app coming. And output. You know, the networking can be exhausting. You know, I am not someone who wants to be speed networking all day. And I'm sure some of you listening are not like that either. I know people who don't go to networking at all, and it's because of this setup. Because people are forced to be in rooms and talk to people and pitch and, you know, do the same thing every week. Why? Why do the same thing every week and still get the same result, which is nothing? I think there's a famous saying about that, isn't there?
Yes.
We're action oriented. We've been saying this over and over again. Action, action, action. We've seen how these other spaces operate. We know what works. And that's why our people are getting results fast. Because what have you heard about networking? Oh, it can take you, you know, at least like 12 months or more of consistent networking, and that's how you're going to get, you know, the results. Not over here.
We haven't even been around even close to 12 months.
No.
And look what's
We watch
happening.
this space when we do.
Ooh.
You know, so I know this is getting kind of long, but the last thing is, what do you get? Lace, how many people have we talked to just over the past few weeks who have said they have spent hundreds of dollars, if not thousands, going to spaces?
Mm.
You know, 25 plus, 100 whatever networking events and groups and communities and empowerment and entrepreneur and blah, blah, blah. And they're looking around like, well, wait, okay, what am I getting out of this?
An emptier bank account seems to be the most popular answer to that question.
The most popular answer, because you go in with the intent, okay, this is going to work, right? You want to believe that it's going to work because you spent money on this thing. You know, you're taking a risk in your business, you're investing in yourself, investing in your future. So you're trying to get it to work. And I think that's where some people, they don't stop to realize that it's not working. Because you just think, this is how I thought, I just got to keep going. I got to be consistent. I haven't been consistent enough in my networking, and that's not why I'm not getting results. Oh, I haven't perfected my pitch. That's why I'm not getting results. Oh, I need to show up in the space a different way. That's why I'm not getting results with my networking. Maybe that's not what it is. Maybe there's no structure in that space. Maybe because they let everyone in. Maybe because it's not focused on getting you results. Maybe because it's just there to be a funnel for the person who owns that space to bring them business. I don't know. You can decide that for yourself. But all I know is the people that we are talking to, the people who have joined us inside of the flavor room, they were looking around and said, I'm not getting anything. Some of which who have been looking for a curated space for over 2 years. We create collaborations and connections that produce results. And there it is.
There it is. So I've
Yes,
dropped
there
the
it is.
link in the comments. So go and check that out. I've dropped the website if you think you need to go and have a further nosy in before you book that Flavor Fit call. And I've also dropped the link for the call if you're like, I have heard enough. How do I get involved? That's your first step, is to come and chat to us, and we will make sure you're a fit, make sure we're a fit for you, and that we can support you in the way that you need at whatever level you're at. And we go from there.
Yeah, that's it.
That's all we got. So we'll be back tomorrow at who knows what time. So catch us.
Hey.
Ciao. Always trying to stop this live stream. It gets me every single time. Like, why did I